Hello, it's Kim on this beautiful fall day. The colors of fall are so beautiful and you can't help but admire them. Across the countryside, the oranges, reds, yellows are all blazing. But in my garden, it's starting to look sad. The frost has come, we've even had a freeze here, and so the plants are all dying back. And look, I don't know, bedraggled just depending on how far out into the weather they are. These impatiens look pretty good, but the coleus next to it was on the outer side. Now my sweet potato vine really took a beating. Salvia survived pretty well, still blooming. Now my balloon flowers there have turned their yellow, so they look decent for this time of year. But it's time to start thinking about arranging the hypertufa planters how I want them to spend the winter. My erodium has all but pooped out for the year. It's frostbitten and frozen out. It is supposed to survive the winter as noted on the tag, but it doesn't. I have not been successful unless I dig it up, put it in a terrarium, and take it inside. But the colors on the succulents are so beautiful. I just love the way the rosy hues stand out in this and the burgundy. Now I have this kind of large rectangular planter with some tiny dwarf irises in them. Now the irises are almost full, the bloom is full sized, but these little iris stalks are pint sized. They're just a few inches high. They're so cute. Love them very much. Now here we are with one of the balloon flowers planted with some Angelina in the urn they're in. That Angelina, along with the orangey yellow cast of those leaves, looks really good. And my black and blue salvia that we planted earlier this year in another video, it's just about had it. It's not hardy in my zone, so I'll have to buy another one if I want to have one next year. But this plant was well worth it for the hummingbirds and butterflies that visited. It was a nice, huge specimen plant for my garden. The hibiscus has died down, turning orange, just a little tiny bit of the green left on it, so that's going to have to be cut down. Mine has a very woody branch on it, but the shrubbery makes a nice green backdrop for a lot of my plants. I like that. Now here in the beds I have dropped seeds when I've pulled out love and a mist, and the love and a mist is just thriving, it seems. Everything else has frosted and frozen. The coreopsis there has frozen, but the new seedlings of the love and a mist, they're trying to bud and bloom. So you sure can't beat that. And these were just entirely seeds dropped when I cleaned off the old ones that had died in the back side of the garden beds. And again, everything looks pretty bad, pretty wicked here in the garden. Here is my sweet autumn clematis that I cut down, let's see, that was last month I think, and it is no worse for the wear. It is sprouting, new branches are trying to grow, and the freeze didn't hurt it. You can see how they're fresh and unburnt by the cold. So I don't have any worries about that coming back next year. Now my hydrangeas are sad. This is one of the ones that I spoke about in a recent post. It won't grow for me. It just stays frosted and, I don't know, beaten down. Now my sedum here, the autumn joy sedum, the little brown heads will be nice to leave for the birds in the wintertime. And I've got to pull down the black-eyed Susies because I don't want them to sprout anymore. My bottle gentian, bright blue in the garden, and it will be bright blue and blooming in the snow. Look how many clusters of blooms I have. Aren't those gorgeous? There must be, I don't know, 10, 12, a dozen to each stalk. I really love this plant. those balloons that you're seeing there are a little bit of the balloon flower that's leaned down and is leaning into the gentian, because most of my bloom flowers here and there are just blooming and popping out just fine. I really like balloon flowers, but I've got to gather everything, gather the garden tools, find the ones I've got rusted, and get them oiled up for the winter for storage. The sweet gum is starting to turn its yellow leaves. I have had this, I think, for about 5 years now, and it's a decent size. It doesn't seem to be a fast growing tree, but my sweet gum does not have those little balls that fall off. The sedum sarmentosum is a type of sedum that will die back over the year. So it has turned pink, and will be gone. This peony is confused with the weather. I had cut it down, but it's sprouting now, fresh and red again, as if it's early spring. Now this is a box that I threw a package full of alyssum seed into in the early spring, and the alyssum has just gone crazy. That's more yellow balloon flowers in that pot. But you can see how everything just sprouted from seed. When you want alyssum somewhere, just sprinkle the seed in the snow, wherever you want it. They'll come up faithfully. And I love my ornamental grass. This is that morning sinensis. I think it's Miscanthus sinensis morning light. I love this ornamental grass. But that's the autumn garden here. I hate to see the season go, but unfortunately that's how it is.